Welcome to Fuchsia UT Time podcast, where we create a space with real conversation, real clarity, and real transformation. Today, I'm your host, Goddess Bontrice McErath Neal, and today we're not just talking, we're shifting. Because let's be honest, a lot of people right now, they're feeling a little overwhelmed, anxious, and disconnected. But what they're actually experiencing isn't just stress, it's misalignment. And when you don't have clarity, your mind stays noisy, your body stays tense, and your life starts to just feel off. I had that experience this week myself. I just experienced Sunday and Monday, 2 days in the bed, sleep. My body said rest. I must have been going through something, some misalignment. So I had to get into some alignment. So today we're going to go deeper into what it really takes to release what's being holding you back and come back to alignment with who you truly are. So before we get started, I know you see I have a guest today, but we're going to do a little bit of a meditation moment right now. So I'm going to lead you into some meditation. If you like to close your eyes and just get into a very peaceful place. And just before we go any farther, let's just take a moment to reset. So wherever you are, just pause. Just pause for a second. Take a deep breath in. Something in this space to meet you exactly where you are. And take one more deep breath in and release. All right. I'm joined by Miss Erin Newman. She's an author, transformational coach, and a hypnotherapist, just like myself, for business owners and leaders. And so she's also the creator of the Belief Alchemy Method, a powerful blend of somatic, subconscious, and ancestral healing tools designed to help people regulate their nervous system and open themselves up with more wealth, abundance, and joy. So let's take this time to just welcome Erin to the show. I'm going to give you a bit of some applause and some cheers. Yes, thank you so much for being here. And, before I even jump into any of my questions, I know I did a brief introduction of yourself, but if I left something out that you felt like the group would resonate with you, I'd love you just go ahead and just introduce yourself to the audience, Erin. Like who you are, what do you really do, and what led you to helping people in this way.
Yeah. Well, first of all, oh my gosh, Andres, that meditation was so
Oh, I can't hear you. I think you may be
beautiful.
talking on mute.
Um, can you hear me now?
Hold on. It may be me.
And I think oh, perfect.
Yep, it's me. All right. You go right on ahead.
Yeah, I was just saying thank you for that amazing meditation. That was so awesome.
Oh,
Your
thank you.
voice is so soothing. Oh my gosh, I could listen to you do that forever.
Oh, thank
Um,
you. Thank you.
yeah, so powerful. Thank you. Um, Yeah, so I know we have a lot of similarities in our work, actually, and I'm really excited to dive into that, dive into the deep end with you. Um, yeah, I work on, like you already shared, the really old and deep blocks, the things that tell us we're not enough in some way, shape, or form, or that tell us this is all you get to have in this lifetime, or that tell us this is how much money you get to make. This is as good as it gets for you. That sort of like persistent little voice of who do you think you are?
Right.
So we're unwinding that and reprogramming your subconscious mind for more.
Mm,
Yeah.
nice, nice. And so, do you believe right now, like, do you think that most people are aware that they're possibly operating from a limiting belief and they're living like on an autopilot? Like, how do you see the trajectory of the world right now and people and how
No,
they're
I
operating
don't
today?
think most people realize that, right? Because they are subconscious beliefs. So we're not even aware that we're operating from them.
Hmm.
Um, And I think that is why we see so many things that numb us out to the world.
Yeah.
Everything from drinking and drugs to just scrolling on our phones, which I think we're all guilty of, um,
Mm,
so that we don't have to deal with the thoughts that are in our head. Most
yeah.
people don't want to look into what's going on in their minds. Um, so I would say, yeah, I don't think the vast majority of the world is aware of
Yeah.
what's I call it the default program, right? Like stuff that's operating beneath the surface that, yeah, keeps us in our ruts, keeps us doing the same thing day after day versus like, no, there is this thing and thing could be happiness, joy, whatever, but like there is
Right.
this thing that I want. Why can't I get there?
Yeah. Yeah. And I know for me, um, I call it like an awakening
Mm,
experience, which is not always fun either.
nope.
When you definitely have it, I think some people get this whimsical thought that when you get this awakening, this aha moment, that is like, oh, everything just makes sense. Things make sense, but it's so scary when it makes sense at the same time.
Right?
I describe even in my book, Rebranding You, where literally when I switched jobs from one company to a next, I never forget it. I was just talking about the story the other day to somebody. I was working at this one company, and we used to work late, like really late. I don't even know why now. When I think about the things that we were doing, I'm like, why were we still at work? I'm talking about 7, 8 o'clock, 11 o'clock p.m., 1 o'clock a.m. We're still at work, and then we would turn around and come back at 7 a.m. And we were actually rewarding ourselves and thinking that we were the best thing since sliced bread doing that for a couple of years. I was doing that, and I had a family at the time, but I was dedicating myself so much. I felt like I was married to the company. Well, long story short, I left that company, went to another one, and it was literally like 3:30, 4 o'clock ish in the afternoon, and I looked around, and everybody was gone except for me. Like, I mean, literally the whole building was empty except for me. I was still heads down, working, thinking that that's what I was supposed to be doing at that moment. And I remember calling my mom. And I said, "Mom, I think I must have missed a fire drill. Something is wrong. Everybody's gone." I think it was at those moments, and not happened all at slammed at once, but different moments of my life. I was like, I didn't realize how much I was conditioned,
Hmm.
um, and how much I was that what we call, some people call NPCs today, where you
Yep.
just, or the everyday self as I refer to them, that you just get up, you go to work, you do these things, and you start all over the next day. I was stuck in that for quite some time until I had my true awakening that this isn't the life. Um, at what point would you say for you personally was your turning point to go down this journey of work? I know that that was for me. I was like, once I woke up on some things, I had to let everybody know, um, and try to get the subconscious of folks really waking up and just thinking about things. So for you, what was it personally that kind of led you down this path?
Um, I don't know that there was any one thing. I will say that I never thought the corporate world made sense. Like, I remember going through this, pretty serious depression once I graduated college and had my first job because I was like, wait, this is it? Like, this is what you guys promised us? Like, this? I'm like, we worked our whole lives for this?
Yep.
And I kept asking that question, right? Like inside my own head, but sometimes out loud, right? Um, and nobody had a good answer. Nobody had
No.
an answer. And so I was never on team, I'm going to work late or I'm going to climb the corporate ladder. I was never on that because I kept looking around like I would ask my colleagues, like, so we're going to do this until we die? Like this, you guys?
Yeah.
I probably didn't hide it that well. But after my second son was born, I was like, okay, we started running the math and um
Mm.
I wouldn't say it financially made sense for me to stay home, but it was a good breaking point
Yeah.
to stay home. So I did and realized within that first year, like, okay, I'm gonna need something other than just being a mom.
Right.
Um, I know that works for a lot of people, but it was not my path. And so I just started down this path of doing a lot of freelance writing in the personal development wellness space because I loved that
Yeah.
space personally. Um, yeah, and then just, as one does, kind of going down these different rabbit holes. I got a life coaching certification and then different other certifications after that. So yeah, I don't know that it was ever one specific moment. It was just a lot of little moments of thinking like, and I still think that when I see, like you said, people just kind of getting up and going to their job every day and
Yeah.
obviously economics plays a huge part in that, right?
It
But
does.
yeah, if there is a way for you to do your own thing and live the life you really want to live, like, man, why
Yeah.
not now? You know?
Yeah. I tell you, I was one of those, and being an African American or a black woman, we worked very hard, very, very, very hard. And so we were conditioned, even growing up through school and things to that nature, that you had to. work harder than the next person. So a lot of that was that conditional thinking that I even wrote about too. I wrote about the different cells. So when you read this book, you're gonna have a
I'm
good time.
excited. I'm excited.
But I wrote about the different cells. So I spent some time even in this podcast being my authentic self, and I tell people that this right now, this era of my life is my authentic self. So there's an
Mhm.
everyday self. There's the conditioned self where, you have those school conditions, your parent conditions, everybody that plays a role, your friends' thoughts, kind of plays a conditional role in your subconscious of how you operate in life. And I'm right here at my authentic self, moving my way to my ultimate highest self. And so what came with that was, who am I authentically? So I've been spending time to get to know myself
Hmm.
and my turning points in different the choices that I've made in life. And like, hey, where do I really belong? What am I really supposed to be doing? So like you, I've gotten a life coach licenses and certifications and things of that nature, hypnotherapy, sound therapy. I told you I was a DJ,
Yeah.
like, so
Right.
I'm pretty sure that people that know me or felt like they knew me was like, what is she doing? Um oh,
I feel
I
like it's
tell you,
good when they start saying that about us, you know? It's like,
I
I
know.
want you to be saying that about me, you
I
know?
want to keep
What
you
are you doing
guessing
now?
because that's the
Yeah.
fun part. It's the fun part. I've learned that,
Right.
like I can do anything. And so people walk around and say, oh, I can do anything. And you tell your children you can do anything. But then as adults, we don't really, that's a limited, I believe, belief
Yeah.
that we have that we tend to not pretty much act on, that we could just do and be anything, you know, in life. And I'm with you. The daycare, I had started over where we now have a 4-year-old. We have college students, adult kids, and we have a 4-year-old. And daycare was getting ready to like hit us upside the head quite a bit. So it's like, are you staying home or am I staying home? Like something's got to give, and that comes with changing your life altogether. So you kind of got to roll with the punches, as life goes. It's never meant to be the same, I think, is what happens, and some people just get thrown off by, especially if you operate in your everyday self and that gets interrupted.
Hmm.
And you're like, wait a minute, that creates that anxiety. I know there's one other thing that I saw that you do. You do like a somatic approach. Can you describe what that is? What is, I know people may have heard of Reiki a lot, but what is a somatic approach? What does
Yeah.
that entail?
Yeah. So somatic just means anything related to the body, and hypnosis is also somatic. Um, I weave in a lot of tapping, um,
Hmm.
emotional freedom technique tapping. And essentially, that is literally just tapping on these acupressure points on your body as we talk through a certain subject. Um, for me, it's really, what is their body saying about this issue or belief? So I always think of my work as like somebody comes in with the symptom, whatever the symptom is, you know. Oftentimes with entrepreneurs, it's around money, not necessarily, but often. And we're looking at, okay, what is the belief that is underneath of that, that is causing us to believe, okay, I can only earn this much, right? Or I can only earn it if I work really, really, really hard,
Hmm.
which is a pretty standard one for all of us.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're unwinding that. And for me, well, I shouldn't say for me, this is not my theory, but all of these beliefs are stored in the body, right? We built them through this channel that is our body. Um, and that's where we hold on to them. And so incorporating something that is not just us talking on a conscious level is really helpful in the healing process. And you do that, you know, you do that too with the work that you do.
Right.
Um, so it's really just, I always think of it as like we're not just having a conversation, right? There's a lot of research out there now saying that talk therapy sometimes doesn't get to the deepest stuff because it's really easy for us to go back into our stories, into our personas, into our ego when we're just having a conversation, right? And
Yeah.
what I notice for a lot of people is, mm, and this is all of us, not just, my clients, but like it's really hard to even access those deeper beliefs, right? Like like we were talking about at the beginning, like who even knows what your own belief systems are?
Right.
But once you drop into the body, once you're able to kind of let go of those conscious stories and be in that somatic space,
Hmm.
they're able to access those things much faster. They're able to access where the memories are stored much faster.
Hmm.
And then we unwind them, right? And
Yeah.
reprogram in the new beliefs.
Mm. Mm. And that's definitely where the hypnotherapy
Yeah,
comes into
absolutely.
play. I
Absolutely.
remember what I told folks. I say, "Yeah, I know how to hypnotize."
Mm,
You spoke about my voice at the beginning. I learned throughout the years that there's something about a voice
hmm
is a frequency um,
hmm
that can do a little shifting and get into folks' heads really quickly.
And yours
And
can.
people normally when they would come around me and I'm talking to them, like, gosh, I feel like when I left, I feel like I could just do anything. I'm like, because you can. And I didn't recognize that that was one of my gifts until
Mhm.
later. Hence why I got into DJing and got into a lot of things. I'm a sound alchemist. I can do a lot of different things with this voice. I can sing. I can do a lot. And I just didn't recognize or want to recognize that. I actually closed my throat chakra for quite some time and hid in the background. So appreciate what you're saying about, going deeper. And it's okay to try to go deeper and understand more, but you need help. Sometimes therapy, talking things out with someone is going to kind of talk it back to you is not really changing your story or your thought process. They may give you good tactics to use to try to change some things, but
hmm
is really deeper than that. I would say. I've had therapy in the past, and I'm like, okay, that was good, but then I go back to a refresh of the same old story once again because my subconscious didn't get changed in that whole
Yeah.
process. I'm not
Yeah.
beating it up. I'm not beating up therapy. I'm just saying
Right.
that
I'm not either.
therapy is just
I'm not
not
either.
probably the one-stop shop. There's
hmm
still more inner work that you have to do.
Yeah, and I think a lot of therapists are starting to incorporate somatic work too, because of that research that shows like, hey, just regurgitating and retreading the same stories
Hmm.
may not change anything.
Right.
Anyway.
Yeah. So where do you think that limiting beliefs typically come from?
Mm,
As you do your work, where have you seen it really come from?
oh my gosh, I think I'm probably going to open up a Pandora's box with this
Oh,
answer.
go ahead. This is the tea time. We can do that.
Well, okay, so this is, yeah, oh gosh, okay. I'm going to try to be succinct here. So part of my work is, the ancestral piece, the which could be past life, it could be future life,
Hmm.
it could be ancestral, meaning like it's literally carried in your DNA from your parents, your grandparents, your great grandparents. Um, and I will say that I am a spiritual skeptic, even though I
Me
do
too.
this work.
Yeah.
Are you?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, like I don't need to believe in it with a capital B
Hmm.
belief. I
Hmm.
just know that it's helpful, right?
Yeah.
That if we do this work and your psyche is telling you, hey, this is where this came from. This came from a past life and it looks like this and this happened in that past life.
Hmm.
And your brain has now a story, a reason
Yeah.
why this keeps showing up in your life. Like, I don't personally care if that past life is real or not, like with a capital R, right? As a practitioner,
Hmm.
I don't need it to be real.
Hmm.
That person might need it to be, but I don't have any um what's the word I'm looking for? I don't have any like I'm not going to take offense if somebody doesn't think this work is, real, or if you don't think the things that we're doing are real. Like I don't care because the proof is in the pudding. Like,
Right.
do you feel like this has been healed when you leave?
Right.
Do you feel like, hey, this has really shifted something and I'm now able to wake up happier or be more patient with my kids or finally get that business started or grow that business or
Hmm.
whatever it is they're trying to do, but yeah, I guess to me the limiting beliefs can come from a variety of places.
Right.
And I don't think it is just from childhood.
Mm-mm.
And I think there's a lot of great research out there that's showing, we get passed down things, epigenetics, we get passed down things from grandparents, great grandparents, or ancestors. Like,
Yes.
how
I
could,
definitely believe that.
yeah, so how could those things not be, bigger than us,
Yep.
older than us,
Yep.
you
It's
know?
interesting. My husband and I, we see patterns. I clearly
Hmm.
see patterns quite a bit. Patterns in his life, patterns in my life that we saw in grandparents, great grandparents, cousins, aunties, uncles that are repeating. And we have set a mission, which is a tough mission, but we set a mission that we're trying to be a curse breaker here. We call it curse breaking, generational
Hmm.
curses.
Hmm.
And through that, we have learned some clarity of some things that may have been misunderstood, even in his life as well as in mine, in order to make sure that our children and our children's children hopefully don't have to go through this particular cycle, because we do believe in genetics, we believe in DNA, we believe in that it's just not you get somebody's eyes,
Right.
somebody's nose. You actually get things soul bound, spiritual bound, that they may
100%.
have not dealt with, that now you have to grow in order for the whole ancestry, as well as your future and your future selves, your lineage, have to deal with.
Yeah.
It's really
100%.
deep.
It
Um,
is really deep. It's
and,
really deep.
and like I understood when you said, let me see how I can break this down. Because when I talk about conditional selves, that's part of that conditioning that has been done. Um, that I mean, just something as simple as I'm just going to use something very simple. If you had a parent or a grandparent that all they did was yell at kids, you know, get over here, sit down, da da da, when those kids become adults and they have their own kids, a lot of times they also look at children as um, hindrances, or something that they have to train like pets. Um, get over here, do that, sit down, and it just continues until sometimes those, a lot of times that don't really work. It that person, that little kid probably gets in more trouble in adult life because they're looking for someone to yell at them to course correct. Does that, you understand what I mean? Like, if
100%.
nobody's yelling at them to course correct, then you didn't speak loud enough. So whoever they marry or whatever, if they get married or they have relationships, a lot of times those people, they're like, well, I did something bad, but you didn't yell at me about it. So I didn't think that you really was hurt or you really cared because you didn't yell about it, because that's that conditioning um, that has been done over and over and over time. But if someone steps in and says, okay, I'm going to treat my children, I'm not going to yell at them. I'm just going to be like, look, let's sit down. Let's talk about what you did. Let's figure out the appropriate punishment that you have to have, because there's consequences to things. So everything that you do that's not in alignment has to come with a consequence. And then let's figure out what we got to do here so that we could course correct so this don't happen again. Likely that's how that person is going to parent whenever they get older, and
Mhm.
that's how they're going to be a better communicator in a relationship when they get older. So it's a lot it's like something that's simple, I think, is that, but it's so deep and complicated because you got to go deep down into figuring out, well, what am I doing, me, that I probably got conditioned. Like me, I got conditioned that financial stability, working hard, like we were talking about in the beginning, you got to work hard, you got to do this. And so, and then my kids, they saw me working so hard that I watch even my son work so hard. And I'm like, son, now I'm kind of confusing him because he's like, well, you work so hard, but
Right.
now
You
you're
model
telling me
that.
to take a break. Well, I don't know how to take a break because you didn't take a break. So that was something that I passed down to him. And some people may see that as a great quality. However, he may not fit time in for personal life. And then when he does, it's going to be chaotic because he's not going to understand like how to fit it in. You get what I'm saying? It's just, it's very conditional. And I'm
It
trying
is.
my best to break that curse midway. And he's an adult at this point. You know, I love his work tactic. That's great. And I'm pretty sure the company does too. But I'm pretty sure his friends want to spend time with him too. You know, so he's got to figure out the
Yeah.
balance, you
And
know?
I think that's really amazing that you guys were able to change that for
Mm-hmm.
your kids, right? Because I think, honestly, I think changing parenting is probably the hardest thing there is, because that is so deeply ingrained in your subconscious,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like that yell comes out before you even have time to think,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know? It's that reaction that you're going to have that is totally conditioned, right? Your
Mm-hmm.
kid triggers something, and if you were raised by yellers, that's out of your mouth before you even think about it. Like there's
Right.
not a conscious thought there. It's just out, right? And so that's amazing.
Yeah, and what's interesting is I wasn't raised by yellers. My husband probably was.
Mm.
I was like, "Who's yelling? Why are you yelling?" Like what's going on? And so you had two different worlds coming together. And
Yeah.
we're going to be starting our podcast. We're airing on May 17th, where we're going to break down that stuff even further. You can come back
I
and
I would
talk
love to
about.
listen in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because we're like, okay, there's a lot of things conditionally from a relationship perspective that people need to learn to understand each other that you
Hmm.
probably can't get in therapy necessarily to go deep
Right.
into soul,
Right.
past life, like past life for me. I did some research, and people that's watching this that know me probably think I'm going crazy, but I was an herbalist in France in some life. Hence why tea came to me. All these
I
herbs came to
love
me.
it.
I used to
I love
play in
it.
the dirt in the yard in the forest and all this stuff as a kid. Didn't understand why until I did a full breakdown of who am I? Where did I come from? So I I can't say that I can't believe in things that happen in the other dimensions in time. Um, Otherwise, all of my belief systems that I've had in my life, primarily I had Christianity as my belief system, and even in that you have to believe in some
Hmm.
spiritual things, and especially you have to believe in spiritual work in order to believe the stories that you're told.
Right.
um, you know
Absolutely.
these
Yeah.
are this is real life, is this is a real life that we're experiencing, and I just want to have the best experience, and that's just it. And I just want anybody that's around me to have the best experience too. So that's what drove me into this work as well. I just want people to have the best experience that they could have in life, and life doesn't have to be miserable. Life comes with adjustments, and as long as you can adjust smoothly, you know,
I love that
you're
word,
gonna be able to,
adjustments. I'm
adjustments to align. You gotta
gonna
have
use that.
adjustments. You know,
Hmm.
and so I just I felt the connection between you and myself, and when I started to see the books that you've released, which guys, you have to go out to her site, is erinnewman.com.
Hmm.
Look at her books, buy her books, you know, definitely. Let's don't lean on mine. I read other people's books too. And definitely take. They're basically around limiting belief. Do you want to give like a synopsis about, I think you got two books
I
that are
do.
out
Yes.
there, and what they're generally about, so that the audience that's looking at those two books would know which one that resonates with them the best.
Sure. So the first one is called Spiritualpreneur, and it is for entrepreneurs. And each chapter goes through like a different limiting belief around, yeah, different topics in your business. Social media, visibility, networking, all these different ways to grow your business that we all have limiting beliefs around. And so it just goes through some different tapping sequences that you can do around all of those limiting beliefs. And then the second one is called Mind Body Bank, a somatic approach to true abundance. And it goes into all the very specific money blocks that, again, like Funtrice and I were talking about, most of us have. There's a whole chapter on having to work hard for money. Um, Again, we all have them, and so really just starting to unravel them.
Yeah.
It's a fun process. And I did just want to say one thing about the unraveling of curses, because I think what's really fun to start to play with is to look at the protective elements of that curse, right? Or the
Mm,
protective elements of that limiting belief. Because these were all instilled either in childhood or past life or with our ancestors. Not, I can't say always, but not usually with malice, right? It was
right.
so that it would protect you from something out in the world. And
Absolutely.
and that was not even like what's the word I'm looking for? A fake thing. Like it wasn't like it's telling a black woman that she needs to stay small, stay quiet, like
Hmm.
that was valid.
Yeah.
That was for survival.
Yes. Yes. That is
So
true.
we can't look at it from just purely the perspective of, oh, why do I have this shitty limiting belief in my head, right? Like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
there was a reason,
Right.
there was a reason either your psyche or again, ancestors, past life, whatever, created this belief,
Yep.
you know,
With the
and
good intent.
with a good intent,
With the
usually.
good intent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so without that aspect of it, I think we just beat ourselves up, we just tell ourselves like, well, why do you have this? But they're all there for a reason. Those
Yes.
limiting beliefs are there to protect you from something and
Absolutely.
some, serious stuff. Like
Yeah.
you're valid.
Yep. And that's when I talk about like the lower self. I tell people that the lower self is not always bad. It's the intent. Because the lower self usually is trying to protect, or is trying to get in front of the, like from a preventative perspective, is trying to protect you from something. So it'll build this fear. Um, it'll play off of fear to move forward. Fear, oh, don't do that. Don't go outside. It's raining. You might have a wreck. You know, and I say that with the laughter because my great grandmother used to say that to us all the time. If it was raining outside, she didn't grow up where cars were as advanced as today. She died when she was 96, a couple of years ago, back in I think 2014. So she saw a lot. So when she would tell us like, you can't drive in the rain, I'm like, well, we got windshield wipers, we got safety on cars. She didn't understand any of that stuff, but that was part of her level of conditioning. That's an example of like a lower self saying, don't go outside because it's raining and you may have an accident. Well, those things could projectively be
Have
true, like
happened.
it
Yeah.
can actually happen. Um, there's a sense that we have to get past the fear to understand at what point do we allow for that lower self, and we allow that limited belief to be a protector or be a hindrance. And that's
Yep.
the hard part, is deciding at what point is it a hindrance to move forward, or is it a protective agent?
Absolutely.
You know?
And and you have to really get consent from your body around that piece.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it can't just be like, okay, cool, I'm going to snap my fingers and this belief is gone because
Mm-hmm.
again, it's serving you in some way,
Yeah.
you know? And we have to have that negotiation with that part of you, that aspect of you that was protecting you from something, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Which moves me into another question too. For you, in that sense, what does clarity and calm and being calm look like in a daily life for you? Like
Mhm.
what would you say is a calm and clarity day or moment?
I I really have to meditate. Um, I I mean, I can go a couple days and then I start getting in this like anxious tailspin. So I really have to sit my butt down, and even if it's 20 minutes, I have to meditate.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that's where I'll also ask my guides and I'll ask source for answers. Ask my body for answers too, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Um, and then the other pieces, I really have to do something active every day, even if it's just a walk, even if it's, you know, yeah, just a walk with a dog. But
Yeah.
I have to get my body moving in order to feel that sense of calm. Um,
Mm,
and again, those are just things that I've, over the years just realized for myself, like we are not going to be
mm.
operating at the highest level without those things. So,
Exactly. I know a lot of people are starting to get back out into nature, which is a good thing.
yes,
And
yes,
people are probably going to start to see people hugging trees again if they haven't
love
seen
it.
people doing that. So,
Love it.
those are some things that I do to kind of get myself back. I have to be outside. Um, you know, for me, I have to experience nature. Hence why I love gardening and so forth. I love herbs and stuff like that because I like to be outside. I've always known I like to be outside. It's just amazing some things that you start to learn about yourself when you really just authentically be who you are in that. So I appreciate that. Meditation. You're right. Meditation. I think a lesson on meditation probably would be suffice for the full collective of the human body of people because there's a lot of misconceptions around meditation. Some people I've heard, I can't do that. I can't sit still enough, long enough. And I'm like, oh, you need guided meditation then, because if
Yep,
you can't shut
yep.
off your brain, that's what you need is guided meditation.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely looking for in the future to do some guided meditations with everyone. I'll probably do those live. Choose a time and everybody join as much as they can to do a live intentional meditation across the board, across wherever internationally. That's something that's one of my goals to do. And but definitely, I could see that from a clarity and calm. I tend to sip on tea, hence why I went to tea route, and I have a clarity and calm tea that I use as well. But you mentioned the word anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. So, do you see um, anxiety as a symptom of a deeper internal misalignment? Like, what does anxiety mean to you? Like, what is it saying? How should people
I
that deal
mean,
with anxiety kind of understand what's going on with them?
yeah, to me it's those same little limiting beliefs just kind of getting really loud. Um, and the funny thing about it is I don't think we even hear the thought necessarily. It just manifests itself as sort of like this, to me, it's like this little voice,
Mm-hmm.
when you're just kind of going about your day and you all of a sudden kind of notice that like you're feeling a little down or you're feeling a little just, yeah, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I have to start unwinding, like, oh, what's really going on here? Because it's not like the person who pulled out in front of me or the whatever. It's that little belief underneath,
Yeah.
that there's something wrong with my life or there's something wrong with me or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And when I can finally hear that actual thought, then I can start to play with it and work with it. But it that takes a lot. That takes, like you
Yeah.
said in the beginning, that awareness, that willing to be awake.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And yeah, it
You're
takes a
right.
lot.
Because I would say that part of my awakening experience came with a lot of anxiety
Mm.
because I was clearly seeing things that I probably was like, oh no, like it was tearing apart what I had believed, and I like something you said earlier around belief versus knowing. I kind of walked away from believing stuff into actually knowing. Um, it was that was a part of the awakening. That was a part of like the awareness of things. Is just simply saying, no, I don't believe that that's what's happening. I know that that's what's happening. And because I know that's what's happening, I don't have to spend time trying to figure out what I'm actually seeing. Um, because I felt like when every time I was staying in that belief system, that belief of, I believe I may be saying this, my anxiety was heightening
Mm.
because I was believing, like, I believe I see that. And the more I kept getting data, because I'm a Virgo, I'm so analytical. I had to collect so much data, and the more I collected data into what I may have been seeing, I was believing I was seeing. My anxiety levels were rising and rising and rising. But once I got to the
Mm.
point of just saying I know, my anxiety disappeared. It was like, oh, okay, I know that that's what's happening. Now what's next? Like we got to do something next. Um, so I think that helped me getting to a knowing helped me stay grounded. And
I
so I
love
would
that.
encourage the audience that, at some point, um, reaching outside of the belief, you believe somebody's treating you a certain way, or you believe that that may be happening. No, just get to straight knowing. No, no, it's really happening. It's not a belief because you're spinning your reels. I believe he's cheating on me. No, he cheating on you. Just get to the no. 'Cause then you know what to do next. Because otherwise, if you believe it, you're still living it, and you're still trying to collect, and the anxiety is still uh building up to your anxiety levels are just so far out of reach that you don't even know what's next. Get to a knowing, and then just be done with it. So I just encourage my audience just to stop collecting so much data and just trust what you see because it is what it
I,
is.
that's a great line. Stop collecting the data.
Yeah, stop collecting the data. Okay. If there's anything else that I may not have asked you during this segment that you would want to cover, is there anything else that you would like for the audience that to know either about you or about um, being an entrepreneur from a spiritual standpoint and how to get rid of limiting beliefs? Is there anything else?
Well, I would just like to invite anybody, well, women, to an upcoming retreat in Tulum in October. Um, it's open to entrepreneurs, leaders, professionals, moms, anybody who's really at a transition point in their lives and looking for that clarity, like Funtrice was saying. And um, yeah, we're doing the deeper somatic work there in Tulum, which is going to be amazing. And there are currently, as we speak, two rooms left that have a private plunge pool, which is essentially your own pool on a balcony that's right outside your room. So you get your own pool. And then there's a pool, there's a big pool too for everybody too to come
I'm
together.
definitely considering coming.
Awesome. Yeah.
I'm getting out of my limited beliefs so I can
Awesome.
definitely make that trip
Yeah.
because I definitely want to experience that.
Oh, that'd be awesome. That'd be
And
so
when it's
amazing.
hot.
Yeah, it'll be warm, and we're gonna do some really cool rituals and ceremonies. We're gonna have a indigenous healer do a Temazcal sweat lodge for us as one of the ceremonies, one of the days. So yeah, it's gonna be really cool, really powerful. I'm um yeah, it's so weird how it's all come together that it just feels really magical, and
Awesome.
I'm just very excited. And
Awesome.
if you want to join us, it's erinnewman.com/Tulum,
All right.
Tulum. So yeah.
Well, you guys have heard that loud and clear. And if anybody want a room with me, reach out
Come
to me
on.
too. Come on, let's
Come
go.
on.
Let's go. Well, this is Erin. I can't thank you enough. And like I said, I'm sending a tea, to you.
Oh,
Whatever you want. You can order one if you like. It doesn't matter. But I'm sending you a tea and my book as well. And this has just been such a powerful conversation. And I hope the audience has definitely taken a listen to, and this can be some transformation in your life, or at least a start toward that transformation in your life. And if there's anything, one thing that I want everyone to take away from this is that you're not stuck. You're just simply not stuck. You're just being called to realign. And clarity is available to everyone, and calm is available to you as well. But it starts with you being able to look within you to find it and not outside of you.
mm,
Nobody else can give that to you. Not your husband, not your wife, not your mother, your father, or your children. You, you, only you. And so, Erin, I thank you so much for joining me
thank
today.
you.
And let everyone know where. I think you just let everybody know where they can find you. Again, I'm gonna do it again. ErinNewman.com. And if you want to go to the retreat, it's erinnewman.com/Tulum. All right. Well, this is my final sign off. And to everyone listening, stay intentional, stay aware, and most importantly, stay definitely in alignment. I'm gonna try to send us out on some music here. I haven't even chose anything, but I'm gonna see if I can find something. Hold on. Let's see. Uh, let's see if I can find something because I would have had a song already pumping up right here. Hmm. I haven't even heard this, but we're gonna play it anyway. All right. Let's see what I
Here's a
can.
quick overview of what you can expect. First, one of our experienced system
We gotta get
designers will
past this
visit your site.
commercial.
Abundance is energy. Abundance it flows to me. Abundance is energy. Flows to me easily. Abundance is energy. Abundance it flows to me. Abundance is energy. Flows to me easily. Abundance is energy. Abundance it flows to me. Abundance is energy. Flows to me easily. Abundance is energy. Abundance it flows to me. Abundance is energy. Flows to me easily. Abundance is energy. Abundance it flows to me. Abundance is energy. Flows to me easily. Abundance is energy. Abundance it flows to me. Abundance is energy. Flows to me easily. Abundance is energy. Abundance it flows to me. Abundance is energy. Flows to me easily. Abundance is energy. Abundance it flows to me. Abundance is energy. Flows to me easily. Abundance is energy. Abundance it flows to me. Abundance is energy. Flows to me easily. Abundance is energy. Abundance it flows to me. Abundance is energy. Flows to me easily. Abundance is energy. Abundance it flows to me. Abundance is energy. Flows to me easily.
All right, that was beautiful chorus. Abundance. What a way to change your subconscious for today. All right. Well, thank you again, Erin, and we'll see everyone next time next week. We'll see what we're talking about again. All right. Thank you all.